All right, we should be live here. Hello, anyone that's watching. Looks like we got 2 people so far. So if you watched my last Crystal live stream, I was working on this same project, basically trying to port Microsoft's Playwright to Crystal. And if you notice, my address bar is the orangey color because I was trying to work on Marionette earlier, and it just got stuck that way for some reason. It thinks it's still being controlled by browser automation tool. It's not, but I can't figure out how to get it to go away, so hopefully it does after a restart. But for now, I'm not going to worry about that. So, yeah, my last Crystal live stream, I'm pretty sure I was working on this, and it is basically, so Playwright is a browser automation tool like Puppeteer for Node.js, but it expanded on Puppeteer quite a bit. Ended up being, it's much more robust. A lot more you can do with it, and it works with Chromium, it works with WebKit-based browsers, Firefox-based browsers, so really it works with pretty much everything, including Edge, which is pretty awesome. And the way that they have things set up in the source code here, Chromium, Firefox, WebKit, they all have their own section of the repository where things get, like abstract classes get extended and overridden. So this means that when I'm implementing this, I can easily just go in and say, okay, I'm going to implement Firefox first, and I can get this all working and actually be able to test that, and then I can worry about the other pieces. WebKit, I'm going to need to find a WebKit browser because I don't have one right now. And I don't have Chromium right now either. Just been sticking with Firefox. So, that's where I am. And so right now I'm working on this events.ts file because I figured this would be an easy thing to get out of the way. Basically, it seems like what they're doing here is they're just registering various events or listing events that different objects have in here. And so I'm doing a similar thing. I'm using Qt by Papyrcorp, which is a event pub sub model based off the Qt framework. Looks like that. Works really well. I used it in another project, and it's perfect. It gave me no issues whatsoever. So, I'm going to set up all of the signals here in events.cr, and that way I can just have them all kind of in one place. It'll make it a little bit easier to find them and change them in the future. So, that's where I am right now. So let's get into it and keep working on this. Events. You can see I've already made it through browser server. Some of these classes I don't actually have yet. And browser I don't have yet. And browser server I don't have yet. Page I don't have yet. Really, I'm very limited on the number of things that I do have so far. Do I have a bad echo? That's not happy making. Let me check my OBS settings really quick. Looks like it is picking up my mic. Let me unplug my mic really quick. Still have a bad echo? Okay, good. I think it just wasn't picking up the mic correctly, or it might have been taking the sound from my computer's internal mic and the mic. I don't know, but thanks. Got it worked out. Alrighty. So the only problem here is that I don't it doesn't give any of these a signature, unfortunately. So I don't know what types each event accepts and exports or whatever. So I just got to kind of deal with the signature for right now and then add those as they come. Page. So we got close, console, dialogue. I have noticed the latency isn't near as bad as it was. I guess it could be because I'm plugged in directly to Ethernet, and I've got the stream latency set to ultra low, so it's seeming like I've only got a 5 or 6 second latency right now, which isn't terrible. It's still not great, but it's not terrible. Download file chooser. And what is that? DOM content loaded. I'm not going to do exactly the same naming that they're doing because I want to do things a little bit more crystally. So we've got page error, request response. Yeah, I agree. Latency was pretty annoying previous stream. It's been pretty annoying in all the streams, and unfortunately it's something that was a problem with Twitch as well as YouTube. The latency was a little bit lower on Twitch, but it was still there. But it seems like it's a bit better now, at least. Response, let's see. Failed, finished. Oops. Attached, detached. But yeah, this was spurred by someone in the Crystal Telegram channel. He's been trying to use my other browser automation project, Marionette, and it hasn't been working. And I think that some recent updates in Firefox changed something. But unfortunately, the documentation for Firefox Marionette is terrible. And so I have no idea how I'm going to fix that. Because initially it was just kind of a port of the Python implementation of the Firefox Marionette protocol. So they wrote a Python library basically to make connecting to Marionette easier and allow you to do browser automation tasks in Python for testing and all that. And now I can't even figure out I can't find the code for that project. It was hard to find to begin with, but now it's just impossible. And they have a JavaScript version, but it's the code is kind of terrible. So this is where I am. I do a lot of ports. I'm not creative enough to come up with stuff myself, so I steal other people's code and Just make it work in a language that I like better. No, I mean, like, I don't know, Tourmaline, my Telegram bot framework, kind of started as a port of Telegraph.js. But if you look at Tourmaline now as opposed to like the Tourmaline or the Telegraph API, it's so much different. I've taken inspiration from multiple places like Telegraph and Python Telegram bot and Telethon and a bunch of other ones. But I've kind of tried to make it my own. So I guess I do still have some creativity in me, just not enough. This kind of thing though is not something that I'd want to do without porting it. Like this is some complicated shit, and it's going to be hard enough to actually port it, let alone coming up with something myself. These types I'm not worried about right now. Transport I already kind of did. Timeout settings not worried about. Selectors. Looks like this is some kind of container type, so CSS, XPath, deep. I don't know what deep is. ID. Oh, that's right. Okay, so I did start using so it's Tourmaline, Tourmaline. This guy. So if you haven't seen it, this is a kind of cool project. I just finished building a website for it. I've got like a whole cookbook up here. Got a link to the API. Dark mode, Algolia. Yeah, it's pretty nice. But yeah, I've put a lot of work into that project. It's probably my second most worked on project, if not my first, next to Cadmium. And I'm hoping if I can get this done, I'm hoping this will be up there too, because I'd like to have a really good browser automation tool. JavaScript is slow. Java is slow, so those are really the only good options we have right now. We've got Playwright and I can't remember what the other project's called right now again, but yeah, we've got like Playwright on the JavaScript side, which is great, which is why I'm porting it, but it's still JavaScript, so it's still very, very memory intensive and kind of slow. And then on the, like, we've got Selenium, which is kind of cross-language because they've built out an API for multiple languages, but it's still, like, Selenium itself is a whole engine that's written in Java, and Java's a mess. So I'm really hoping that this can be kind of a nice alternative that's fast and extremely capable, written in Crystal, and doesn't use as much memory. So we'll see how that works out. But as far as selectors, so if I should probably actually open up the API documentation for Playwright, because this makes it a little bit easier to work out what things are. So selectors are what they use for like the different selector types. Like you can use like a CSS selector. How much memory does your average simple Crystal program use? Not very much. It's not the most memory efficient language. There's still some improving to be done there for sure. But if you do like pay attention to certain things, don't do unnecessary allocations where you don't need to, reuse arrays by clearing them, or hashes by clearing them, whatever. What other things? Don't do a whole bunch of string allocations, and use like string builder and stuff instead of concatenating. All of that stuff drastically decreases memory usage. So you could end up with a very, very efficient Crystal program. I'm not going to say it's the most efficient language in the world, because it's not. But yeah, Python can automatically reuse arrays. That's not exactly always behavior that you want. And Crystal does use a pretty good garbage collector, so if you do multiple array allocations, it's going to collect them if they're not being used anymore, and get rid of them and free up that memory. But there's things you can do as well to try and make sure that the garbage collector doesn't have to do quite as much work, which I don't like relying heavily on garbage collection if I don't have to. But yeah, so a selector is this, like a query selector or CSS or XPath, all that kind of stuff. So let's see. So engines as a set, and I can already tell you right now that I'm gonna have to do something very different, because I can guarantee they're doing some kind of dynamic stuff in here for like generating selector methods and stuff. I'm not gonna deal with selector right now. I'm just gonna move on. Because it's also not a super necessary thing right off the bat. I kind of want to get things just working. Screenshotter, I already know this isn't going to be super necessary. Page. This is something that I'm going to have. So we got a page delegate, which is an interface that has all of these method types. So I can make a page delegate. Yeah, I don't want to put too much work into like just straight porting features, and then find out that further down the line, once I actually have things working, that I need to change something. So I just need to get the things in here that I absolutely need in order to make them work, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we've got page delegate, which is an interface, which in Crystal kind of maps to either a module or an abstract class. And I'm not quite sure what it needs to be yet. Raw mouse, raw keyboard, opener. Okay, so these are all the methods that exist on page. An extends event emitter. Okay, so the page delegate is an actual object, which I assume it goes and delegates all of these methods to the delegate. So I can actually just make that an actual, it'll have to be an abstract class because it's an interface, and this is going to probably be overridden by, let's see, Firefox page. Yeah, FF page implements page delegate. Okay. Simple enough. Let's go back to page. Let's actually make a file. And then these are marked as read-only. I don't actually know the difference between private and read-only when it comes to TypeScript. I imagine that read-only means that once it it's a private getter, or it's just a getter. I don't know. I'm decently comfortable with TypeScript. I just haven't used it a lot recently. Yeah. My trackpad is being a bitch. I haven't used it much recently, and so there's been a lot of things changed since the last time I really used it seriously. So I gotta get used to things again. Right, private is only accessible for methods on the class, not from outside the class. Protected is basically private, but for subclasses as well, if I recall correctly. Read-only seems to be like a private getter. I don't know. But regardless, first things first, let's take all of these types, or all of these method names that are upper camel case. Uh-oh. I fucked up. Oop, fucked up again. Damn it. Okay, and then I need to just convert to Screaming Snake, and then lowercase. There we go. All crystally. Thank you, Alexi. Welcome to the stream. So read-only is a JS const. Oh, okay. But for class properties. Well, in my case with this, I mean, since this shouldn't be accessible from outside of the class anyway, so I'm used to using Emacs and Vim right now, so I pressed D. I'm just going to get rid of them because they're not necessary in the abstract class. I only need things here that are going to be exported. Okay. Now, all of these need the word abstract before them because they're all going to be abstract types. Oops. Whoa, I fucked up. Okay. Now everything that returns a promise void can just not return anything. And all of these I can just get rid of. Promise boolean I can just replace with bool. It's just a matter of cleaning all this stuff up. So those look fine. This is going to be returning a page, quite possibly. Oh, still fucked up. So these should all be abstract def instead of just abstract. I was wondering why I wasn't getting syntax highlighting for these. Okay, so those are all good. That's going to be a frame. It's going to be... Those are going to be string. And actually, I can automate this a little bit too. Anything that's or undefined, can just do that. Number types. These might need to be floats, but I don't know. I'm just going to make everything int 32 for now. Let's see. So this is just going to return, go to result. Let's see. Now, I took apart my computer earlier in order to try and fix the trackpad, and it's still like, it takes a lot of pressure to get things to click. So I have to resort to just using the tap click, which is unfortunate. It does make things a bit quieter. So there's that. I use tap clicking a lot, but... Oh yeah, I can replace those too. Thanks for that. Yeah, that's very true. Shittiest mouse ever is still better than a trackpad. I just need to go get a mouse. I've been dealing with this shit for too long, and it also makes it so that I can't really play games with this, unfortunately. Okay, so the set background color, it takes an optional color object of RGBA. So I've got a couple options. I can either go add a color type over here in types, and make it like a struct or something. I can just use a named tuple. I think I'll just do that for now. Honestly, I don't want to deal with anything else, so I'm just gonna do named tuple. Make it optional. replace these with commas. Okay. So that's that. Every instance of types dot I can just get rid of. Man, that was a loud truck. Promise buffer. So that I can just return bytes. Yeah. I can either return bytes or an IO, but I think I'm going to go with bytes for now, which is it's just a slice of uint8. Get rid of all the semicolons. Be gone. Evil motherfuckers. This is going to be interesting. So adopt element handle. T is something that extends node. You do DOM element handle T. Actually, that actually shouldn't be too hard. I just need to say... So in this case, I actually think I am going to namespace this stuff under the DOM namespace. So we're going to do like DOM... Yeah. DOM element handle, and then instead of T for this guy, we're just going to do node. Yeah, I'm really not used to Typescript and the things that have been happening in it for a while. It's been a little while since I've really gotten down and dirty with Typescript. Interesting. I do wish that you could do something like that in Crystal, because as it is, you can either accept a string or you can just not type the parameter and then just throw an error. But it would be really nice to have like an interface type where you can say, okay, this stringable interface, we're going to say, like, if a type can be coerced to a string, then it's all right with us. But unfortunately, we do not have that currently, so oh well. Hopefully at some point. It would be really nice to have. Get rid of those. DOM element handle, DOM frame execution context, K handle, turns an optional frame. Looks like this is in a bunch of places, so let's do that. Ray quad. So it looks like layout viewport just returns a named tuple of width and height. So let's do that. What do you mean by type parameters? Give an example. So you've got a lot in Crystal, but there's a lot of things that just don't work super well unless you've got a semi-typed dynamic language like TypeScript is. There's also just a lot of things that the maintainers haven't wanted to implement, unfortunately. Right. Let's see. Set input files, DOM element handle. Oh yeah, I removed the end brace there. Handle rect. You have a new box which contains a value of unknown type, which you can get with that value. But use the color, know what the value is, you can do box. Oh, so no and yes. We don't have, we can't do that exactly, but it is possible. Let me dive in here and show off the new log module. So Crystal was updated recently with this new log module. In addition to Logger, they're going to be phasing out Logger before V1, and we're just going to have this. And its context object is kind of like that. So what we have is it's a box object of sorts that contains like well, any of a number of different types. And then you can see down here, we've got like as a. So if you know that the underlying value is an array, then you can return it, or you can return it as an array. Unfortunately, just because of the way the type system works, this does require you to know ahead of time what types you might be including in that context. So you can see like right here they use the crystal datum macro to generate all of those as as a, as bool, as f64, all that. And so this macro generates all those methods to provide like a type coercion type thing. So the answer is mostly no, but kind of yes. We've got the ability to do stuff like that. It's just it's kind of hacky, just because the type system is very strict, and it expects to know ahead of time. Oh yeah, macros are powerful as fuck, man. They're completely compile time. So you just have to be able to guarantee that your code, that the code that the macro generates will compile. But yeah. So we've got ways of doing stuff like that. It's just a little bit different. Go back here. Okay, so get accessibility tree returns a tree and a needle. I'm just going to do the same thing I've been doing, and maybe we'll change this, but I don't know. This looks like some kind of binary tree. So it returns a tree and a needle, which I assume is like a node or a pointer to another part on another tree or something. I don't know. So this is saying that this is an optional method, right? That they don't actually have to have this. That the interface doesn't actually have to have PDF or coverage methods, right? Yeah. So I'm still going to require them anyway, and they can just throw an error if something's wrong. So it takes PDF options. Ah, damn it, I hate that. Let's go. It's probably in types. Well, actually, I should be able to see the top of the page here. Where are they getting PDF options from? Nope, I do not want to bookmark. Oh yeah, it's types.pdf options. Okay. So I just need to figure out what those are. Oh boy, there's a bunch of them. I don't know if this will work or not, but if it will, then well, I'm gonna try this. So I'm not 100% sure that this will work, but if I do this, this is the double splat operator like destructures a named tuple. That's true. I'm not starting with the PDF stuff. I could just comment it out, and I will comment it out, but I'm just gonna leave it commented out like this. So the double splat is like a destructuring operator that destructures keyword arguments, and then so we're taking destructured options of type PDF options. I don't know if this will work or not, but it might. What's with the arrow function thing here? Because the other ones don't have that. But then again, PDF and coverage here are a little bit... Oh, it's because of the way that these are defined, because these are defined as being optional, right? And so, yeah, it's just a different syntax. Okay. And coverage, I don't have an any type, but we're just going to do that. And I'm going to go ahead and comment that out. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Okay, well, that's that. What did I fuck up here? Space refer. Oh yeah, it's right there. And I actually shouldn't have to have a space there, right? Yep, okay. Now, space required before colon. Yep, forgot again. I can probably actually just look for types that are syntax highlighted orange, because none of them should be. So that one, and that one, and that one. These are okay because they're in a named tuple. Okay, what now? Oh, yeah, we don't have an any. So this is the problem with TypeScript as I see it, one of the big problems. Any still gets used plenty. Yeah, the VS Code plugin isn't great at displaying errors. I'm hoping this should be fixed after version 1 launches. I know that people have been waiting on creating a really a good language server for Crystal until V1 launches, so that it's not constantly being like bombarded with language changes. So V1 should be happening soon. Like we're talking a couple months probably. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. But they have said that like we're stopping like major changes. We're just working on the backlog, trying to get bugs fixed and get everything stabilized, and then I imagine within the next 2-3 releases we'll have V1 finally. It's been years. I've been working with Crystal for like 4 years now, and we've been hoping there would be a V1 this year for the next, or for the past, several years. So it's about time. But I don't know how I'm going to handle this yet, so we're just going to comment it out and figure out what this remote object might be, and then I'll just have to make it a union. Anything else? Yep, I forgot another space. Oh no, that's expected. Oh, it's because I put a space there, which I shouldn't have. And same thing happened here. Okay, we're all good. So there's our abstract page delegate class. Actually, deserializing JSON is very easy in Crystal. You just have to know the JSON structure, or deserialize it to a hash. Yeah. So I can show a quick example. If I go to the JSON, where the fuck is it? JSON, there it is. So JSON serializable module allows you to do stuff like this. So you create a class and you include JSON serializable, and that's really all you need to do. Any properties, any getters, setters in the class are then like able to be used as JSON keys. So you can then like deserialize JSON into the class or struct. So like in this case, you can see it's just got 2 properties and JSON serializable, but you can also use this annotation to like set a key, or say to ignore a certain property, or any number of other things. But then if you want to, yes, it does error if the structure is not what you expect, which is a good thing in my opinion. You can also use never mind. The JSON serializable module changed some things. They also have if we go back to the JSON class itself and go to the very bottom here, they've got this mapping macro, which is what we used to use. So JSON mapping is a similar thing, but it actually creates the properties and everything for you. And it's just, now that we have better annotations, like the annotated method is the preferred way of doing things. But yeah, and if you don't have a structure like this, you can always just deserialize it to a hash, and then you just, it'll be a hash of string to JSON any, which is another one of those kind of box types where you can then use one of these as methods to coerce it to a specific type if you know what that type is. Otherwise, you can use the as ? Method, and if it fails, like if this one fails, it actually throws an error. If this one fails, it just returns nil. So anyway, yeah, that's a quick JSON overview in Crystal. I actually love working with JSON in Crystal. It's probably one of the easiest languages to do so in. I think the next would probably be Go, surprisingly, because Go's marshalling and unmarshalling is really powerful. Yeah. So we're not going to deal with PDF options. We've made it through that. Now we've got this page state type, which I think I'm just going to make a record. Well, actually, if it's a state, then chances are it's going to be changing, and a record would not be the right thing to do. Hey, thanks for joining. Thanks for commenting. I appreciate you being on the stream. I'll see you later, man. Get some sleep. I'm just gonna keep hammering at this for maybe another 30 minutes to an hour, and then I should probably do some cleaning before my wife gets home and start making some food or something. So my thought is that this page state is probably something that gets modified. So let's see, we got a state. Set the state. And yes, it gets modified. Okay, so because of that, a struct is not the right way to go, which is what a record actually is. A record is just a macro that creates a struct. So, one of two things. Excuse me. One of two things. I can either just make page state a hash, or I can make it a class. It's looking like they basically just made it an object. So type page state is an object. It's not actually a class. It's just an object with this structure. So we may as well just use a hash. And I can just create an alias, which I will do up here because I like having aliases at the top. If I can spell alias right. I don't like the idea of using an alias or a hash though. And named tuples are immutable. So really a class is the only way to go here. Like the problem with using a hash is just because of the way Crystal's type system is, and the way that things should be, in my opinion. It's just annoying. So a hash can't have a specific structure like this. You can just say it's a hash of string to, and in this case it would be string to size or media type or color scheme or headers. Which means that then anytime you get a key or you get a value from a key, that key or that value can be any of these types, even if you know that the type is, types.size. Because you used a hash, it's not guaranteed. That type could be set to anything. So, yeah, I'm just going to use a class. So class page state, and we're going to do property. Viewport size is a size. Media type is a media type. I actually don't know why they did color scheme like this. As far as I know, color scheme is one word. Yeah, maybe not. Today I learned. I just thought the color scheme was one word, but I guess it's two. These are all nullable, actually. Everyone else who's on the stream, feel free to speak up. Say hello. I partially do this so I can get some, so I can have some interaction, because things get lonely here at home working all by myself. My dog sleeps all day, my cat sleeps all day. I just sit here coding. And then extra. And then gotta do this. Okay. And then this needs an initializer. It actually doesn't necessarily need an initializer, but it helps to have one. Something that I can do here to make it so I don't have to check if any of these are nil or not is to do a like a bang property like that. And that just makes it so that the accessor for the property, the getter, calls not nil by default, which makes things nice. Okay, and I don't think I need to create an initializer. So let's move on. File chooser is another type. Can this be a record, maybe? Let's see. File chooser element. I would be willing to bet this does not get modified, so we're going to make this one a record. And it's going to have an element. And multiple. It's just going to default to false. Actually, you know what would be a good thing to do? Let's go to YouTube. This orange bar is really annoying me. Hey, look at me. I'm recommended on my own thing. So this guy commented on one of my videos, on my video earlier today. Basically just trying to get me to subscribe, and it worked. Because apparently these tracks are all like copyright free. But I want to be able to listen to it without echoing. Let's try plugging in headphones and see if this works. I'm not turning on monitoring, so we shouldn't have issues with echo. Let me know if anything starts echoing. Hopefully it won't. I'm just gonna listen to... Oh, fuck off. Desktop audio is on. Let me know if you can hear this. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. All right. Music. This is nice. Let's go back here. Okay. So export class page extends event emitter. I don't need to worry about extending event emitter. We just need page. It doesn't need to extend anything. Okay. And now we've got all these. So closed is gonna be do that. Just gonna be a proc void. Closed promise I don't care about. And then we've got the same thing for disconnected. Oh. Actually, wait. These are events. Because if we look back over in the events under page, close is right there. Where's disconnected? Disconnected I feel should be there too. Did I just miss it? No, maybe not. Disconnected is on the browser. You know what? I'm not even gonna worry about these right now. Let's not worry about anything that sounds event related. So like closed, well actually closed I do still want, and disconnected I do still want, but I do not want to deal with the callbacks because those are going to be handled by Qt. Disconnected promise, the browser context. And you've got keyboard and mouse. And keyboard is okay. You got timeout settings, which is the timeout settings type. I see timeout options. Okay. So where did timeout settings come from? Came from timeout settings.ts. Okay. So it's actually a type. Okay, and then we've got our delegate. It's highlighting because delegate is actually a keyword in Crystal. it won't really matter if I overload it like this, but I'm actually just going to call it page delegate. Because I don't like overwriting keywords in case I need to use them. So you got state. Page bindings. I'm just going to prefix all of these with page. Page delegate, page state, page bindings is page. And actually it's a hash of string to page binding. And then we've got our screenshotter. And we're going to comment that one out. Oops. Because I don't actually care about it right now. Frame manager. Is a I'm actually just gonna go like I guess I haven't. I'm gonna go ahead and namespace things in the same way. Why not? Accessibility. Yeah. Almost the same way. I'm not going to do accessibility dot accessibility. No, thank you. Workers. So I guess everything that's read-only I can just make a getter, huh? Yeah. Yeah. So like starting from keyboard and mouse all the way down to frame manager. And then I'm going to duplicate all of them and I'm going to say private setter. This should work. Hey Andrew, how's it going? Good to see you on the stream. And I'm going to organize these a bit differently since I've got all of that. And put all of the private properties together. So we've got our workers, which I don't have yet. Hey Andrew, now that someone's on the stream that's actually using the chat, can you hear the music in the background? I haven't been able to verify with anyone. So workers is going to be a hash string to worker, whatever that is. Don't have that yet. For now, I'm just going to make this a string. I have no idea what this is actually supposed to be, because they're using that damn any type. You can't hear the music? Dang it. Output, headphones, built-in audio. Yeah. Because the audio's coming through in my headphones, but I've never tried to actually share my desktop audio with OBS. I don't want that. Well, that's unfortunate. Oh well. Hopefully I'll figure it out for next time. Yeah. Alrighty. And then we've got routes, which a route has a... So last time I enabled audio monitoring, good things did not happen, but I can try. Okay, what's happening now? Can you hear it? Can you hear the music though? Okay, I figured it would be. Let's get it turned down a little bit to a reasonable volume. Try and keep it below my volume. How's that? Too quiet? That better? I can do this with debugging on stream this time, and then next time I guess I'll have it figured out. I'll just leave it there for now. Okay. So it's got this routes object, which is interesting. So routes is an object, takes a URL, or route object, I guess, has a URL and a handler, and this is an array of routes. I'm gonna just, it's a read only, so I don't actually want to have a named tuple here, but I'm just going to do this for now. So URL is going to be a URL match type, which where are you? String, regex, or URL. Yeah, that makes sense. So we're taking a URL and a handler, which is going to be yeah, that's really long, but that's okay. I'm gonna comment it out for right now anyway because I don't know. And then we've got owned context, which is a browser context or undefined. So why am I not streaming on Twitch? Because, oops, knocked my microphone over. Because I'm annoyed with Twitch and their chat system. And because streaming on YouTube makes it a lot easier to put the videos directly on YouTube afterwards. So I'm trying to build up my channel. Okay, well that is all of those. Let's create an initializer. So we're going to take a page delegate and a browser context. And then it's calling super because this is extending event emitter. I don't need to do that. Oh, wait, what am I doing? Okay, so I don't need the closed callback. I don't need the closed promise. Don't need those. Browser context, viewport size is nil. So if browser context and then viewport size is a size type. So I can go over to types. Size is just a named tuple. So we have a width, browser context, viewport width, and height. Honestly, I don't know why I'm not using Emacs right now. But I'm already in too deep. Oh wait, why am I using this again? Fuck this. State. Where are you, state? That's right. I used page state. I should create a initializer for this. It's page state. That's right. Duh. Okay. So now we take viewport size and then null for everything. So I'm just gonna set the viewport size. And just for safety's sake, I'm gonna actually do it as a keyword argument instead of a positional argument. Alrighty. So that's page state. Then we've got accessibility. It's going to be new accessibility delegate get accessibility tree bind delegate. coverage is delegate.coverage or delegate.call delegate.coverage. Or no, so if coverage exists, call coverage. So I still have no idea what the fuck this returns. Okay, well, that's fine because coverage is going bye-bye and screenshotter is also getting commented out, and routes I don't actually see mentioned here. What are we gonna do about routes? I don't know. Okie dokie. I'm going to figure out why this is erroring. Oh, duh. Dummy. It's still having issues. What's going on? What did I do wrong? I also don't need those, but why is it saying expecting end? I've got, oh, because I've got another, oh boy. Yeah, it might be just about time to give up for the day. Okay, and then I have a whole fuck ton of types that I need to create to make this even compile. Pages, page binding, element, all of these like DOM things. Yeah, it's been a surprisingly long day. Oh boy. A big file. Got a lot of things. Oh no. Telegram bot isn't responding anymore and you're getting 429 errors. 429? What the fuck even is that? I don't know that one off the top of my head. Oh, too many requests. That's no fun. That actually reminds me of something that I need to... Let's see. Issue that I need to add in here in Tourmaline. Need to add some rate limiting support for Tourmaline. That's one thing that I haven't implemented yet, but it would be very nice to have. Okay, well, it's been a day. I think I'm gonna go ahead and end there. For now, unfortunately, still nothing workable, but hopefully next time. We'll see. I need to take a break and rest my brain. Thanks for joining, guys. like, subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate the support. And I'll see you guys in the next one.